Codeforged. Hey, let me just get started here. Just setting things up. What are you doing, Uncle? Uncle. What am I doing? Yeah, we'll see. But this live stream is typically about building this platform. So that is, you could say, if you're a programmer and you are looking for a programming community, go there and feel free to join. Of course, up to you. But that's typically what this stream is about, and then it's a lot about answering your questions and you know, various types of things like that. So that is in a nutshell what it is about. What we're gonna do today, we'll see now in a moment. We'll see in a moment. Can you review? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I have the time, write the idea and then we can discuss it. Lol, I thought this one was recorded video. No, it's not a recorded video. It's a live stream. It's a live stream. Are you going to build something? Of course I'm going to build something. That's why I'm streaming. What do you think that I'll be doing here? Staring at the screen? Are you gonna be building something? Nah, I'll just sit here and do absolutely nothing, because that's why I'm doing it. Neo, my friend, good day. How are you? Thank you very much for coming. I don't believe. Well, I mean, you know, you have the right to believe whatever you want. That's, of course, that's fine. That is perfectly fine, my friend. You can believe whatever you want. It's a free world with free thoughts for the most place, right? Ah, yeah, I see. Alrighty, so let's see what we're gonna continue. Probably we're gonna continue what we stopped with last night, which was this markdown importer, right? So this is kind of where we stopped last time I streamed, and we're gonna kind of get back to that and finalize it. Why are my messages deleted? I don't know. Nobody has deleted your messages. I don't see that anyone has deleted them. Christian, thank you very much for the follow, man. I appreciate it. So last night we kind of ended the stream by building this another job in our BullMQ, so our event-based system, right? And that went pretty fine. There's a lot of stuff that we will probably want to yeah, improve here, clean up, whatever, and stuff like that, and that is fine. What we've also seen is that the importer actually works, so we are able to properly parse markdown files. We'll probably need to write, so let's do a couple of things for today. Darth Vader, hey there, thank you very much for coming. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to our projects. We're gonna get here. Dumb guy, yeah, definitely, man. I definitely am, yes. And let's actually go ahead and create something like, let's say, finalize markdown to tip-tap importer. Now, let's actually not gonna create a task, we're gonna create a draft there. So we're gonna create a draft. What are we gonna finalize today, Dart, is the BullMQ like importer. We have like a semi-cron job, like a worker that's gonna run inside of a service worker that basically parses markdown files and then stores them into database. So what we need to finalize, let's see, if we actually get to so let's actually go to our database over here very quickly. Let's get to the users. Let's kind of kill the username. Let's actually go here. So let's kind of get to our so this markdown files thing is what we're gonna be working on. So let's see. So we need to kind of test. So I don't know if we want to kind of allow zip files, archive files as well, or right, just regular things. Okay, so let's see what we want to finalize with this. So test out multiple markdown files, remove arbitrary summary limits, etc., and then maybe later on allow users to manually adjust imported content. Let's see from a technical standpoint, if we take a look at the stuff we built. So if we go to the model, so here's the model, the table, so that's fine. So we just have let's take a look at the actual physical table in our database. So if we take a look at the definition of the table here, we have failed count, status error, created at, primary key, constraint, exactly, references to user, files count, exactly, good. That's kind of what we generated last night. This is our service. And actually, let me take a look at one thing. I have built a small project called One Day Museum. Bear with me and I'll do it. Please give me just a couple of minutes. I just want to finish one thing, and then, you know, I cannot start a stream by reviewing your idea, right? I also have to build my own thing here, right? So very happy to give you my piece of opinion or whatever, but you need to be a little bit patient. I cannot start the stream by doing something for someone else. That would be very illogical. All right, so yeah, this UI stuff we'll review later. I'm not worried much about that. So we have markdown import log, so that's also fine. So let's actually see in our work in our Git history what it is that we've done and what it is. Okay, let me just. So we extended our table enum with a markdown. That's useful to know, like, hey, where's the source of this import? So now we have a source markdown, so that's correct. Articles router. We have added, or actually we have, I guess, reshuffled the position of some routes based on how Fastify router actually renders them. That's a useless comment. Yeah, we have basically reshuffled some of this stuff, changed some URL parameters there and what they take. And then we have markdown import. We have some validation here. So if you hit the quota, basically we throw some sort of a rate limiting type of error, even though we could add this to a reverse proxy level to our ingress controller. And then we have multi-part. So we parse the files, we check if there's more than 20 files at once. We say, hey, you can't do that, my friend. We check for the file extension, if it's MD or Markdown. That's what we allow here. That's correct. Then we aggregate the max size, so sure. So there's a bunch of validation here. You could say we could have almost, in a way, abstracted this thing into something less imperative, like here, but it's fine. Total absolute exceeding 100 megabytes limit. Bad article limit reached. So all of this kind of is fine. We generate a UID 4. We create a couple of jobs. And then we queue this job data, which is correct. That's very good. So far, so good, right? We have some error handling here. Then if we go into this queue markdown import, we get it the job data. Back off exponential, okay. And actually, if we go to bool MQ documentation, and we look for backoff, Mr. Situation X, hey buddy. So exponential, but how? Let's see. So there's a type fixed. Basically, it's almost like a set interval type of stuff. Then we have exponential back. It will retry after 2 on attempts minus 1 delay mill. For example, with a delay of 3000 milliseconds, for the 7 it will retry exactly 3. Very good. Did you bother to learn Danish? I did bother. I never learned it yet. I went to study school twice and I kind of failed, if you may. You know, I have kids and full-time job and all of that, and so it's very in that sense. But no, I have a huge desire to learn it, and I know at one point in time I will properly learn it, right? So I would say, yeah, I did bother and I did fail. I don't know if you can call it failure. I still learned some stuff. I wouldn't say a bunch of stuff, but it's gonna be a work in progress. I expect in a couple of years that I should be good. I should be good there. Okay, so all of this is pretty good. I'm actually very happy with this. Then we get the markdown import job by job ID. We find the import log. Sure, we get the markdown import job, blah, blah, blah. Let process count. Yeah, this is maybe something I don't like very much. Wait, let's see. Import log status is completed. Processed count. Okay, so I think the way that this works now relative to our UI is that there's some sort of polling here. So the UI is probably going to poll every interval, right? Here, I would expect that it's going to do an HTTP call, right? So if we go ahead and actually do this and then try to import it again, I would expect it's going to poll now. And of course, yes, you can see. So let's take a look at that. So successful import. So I guess it's finished at this point, and we can actually get a response here. Files count 1, success count 1, success. This is what it kind of imported. Augie, good day, friend. And then if we take a look at the database, one strange thing here whatsoever is if we say article where source is markdown, right? So one thing that didn't quite work, you could say, is the validation for similar articles, right? Because technically it shouldn't have imported the article with the same name, right? So you can see if we take a look at this one, it has that title. So let's write that down. How are you using AI to be productive without losing your skills because of lack of practice? Well, I've been a programmer for 20 years, right? So I had quite a long time to learn the craft. So that's how. How it is for new people, that's a hard question to answer to anyone, I would say. Because if you're just starting, it's impossible for you not to use AI. That would be silly. So how I would lie if I would tell you how. Nobody knows. You need to be very due diligent, and you need to be pragmatic. You need to do a lot of things to prevent yourself from falling into a delegation trap, right? How? I don't know. I've been in this industry professionally, working full-time since 2007, and before that I was writing code when I was a kid. So I was fortunate or unfortunate, depending how you look at, to be here when AI wasn't here. But how would you do it today? It's very hard to say. Nobody can say, because we've never been as a society at such spot in history. So if somebody tells you that they know, they're lying. They don't know. You can't know because, right, we have no idea. Marcy Popsis, hey, how you need to have a very strong will, very huge amount of self-awareness, self-critique, but it's hard to tell you because AI is here to stay, and AI is the future for many of our jobs. So how we're gonna evolve as a society, having it's unclear. I don't think anybody has a response to that today. It's gonna be tough for a lot of people to figure that one out, right? For some of us and people before me who were programming just before it existed, nothing mind-blowing there. You just had to learn things because that's the way it was done. Today, it's a mixture of knowledge and a mixture of believing some text generating algorithm if it generates something correctly or not, right? So, but it's still more important than ever to know how to write code. So by no means that is less true today. I think if ever, being a well-established software developer today is probably even more important than before, because now you can truly build so many things on your own. If you know system design, if you know a lot of things, it has never been a better time to be a programmer, because what I can achieve today on my own is incredible. Okay, I'm very sorry. I should have to just review stuff that I've done yesterday. All of that looks very much correct. Nothing to complain about there. Migration file to extend our enum article source with Markdown, correct? Then another migration file to create the tables, basically Markdown import log. And then we add some indexes here, of course, makes sense. Then we have the queue that we generated, like off of, so Markdown import queue initialized, sure. No, I wasn't. I started my career before I started my career, I started as a Cisco engineer. So in 2007, I worked as a MikroTik and Cisco engineer. So I was writing C and C++, and before that Pascal and PHP and COBOL, right? But then at one point in time, I realized maybe around that time that web browser is the most used operating system on earth. So from the perspective of jobs, that made the most sense, because I'm a pragmatist, right? Back then I didn't obviously have a wife and kids, but today I have them, and I think I made the right choices because I make choices relative to gain, like a real life gains, not to some wet dreams of a basement dweller, right? So I chose the industry that I back then thought, and I was right, is going to be the biggest industry in the context of engineering, and it still is, right? Majority of people are using web browsers still, meaning web apps. So from a perspective of work, that was the most logical thing, and I think I made the right choice. Yeah. So I did a lot of things, but I landed here, and I'm very happy I landed here because it made my life a lot easier. A lot easier. If true removes the job when it fails after all attempts, when given a number, it specifies the maximum amount of jobs to keep, or you can provide an object specifying. I don't know. We'll need to play with this remove and fail. I'm actually interested to see if it yields any value at all. And actually, one thing that annoys me a lot, if we take a look at our Docker Compose and if we search for bullmq dashboard, is and also we are apparently also running the local traffic dashboard. Wait, let's see. So if we actually open up traffic locally, yeah, so we do have it locally, and I wonder though if we should. So if we take a look at HTTP services, we have no middleware right now, which is a bit weird. Yeah, we don't have any middleware, but if we would deploy also the traffic dashboard to production, which I don't think I'm going to do, then we would be able to also see the HTTP middleware that we actually do have in production, which is auth based middleware. And then we should probably take a look at some plugins as well. When to use interface and when to use type. I would say that there's no really correct way to answer that question, Mello. I think I personally use interfaces for everything because it's just simpler, being narrowed down to a single thing. I would much rather say that the more important question is when to use interfaces or types and when to use enums, for example, right? Because I see people failing in this context a lot more, right? Interface versus type, I think in TypeScript world at least, has been a question for many years. I don't honestly have the correct answer, whatever. I personally also don't care about these semantics. I used to write JavaScript for almost 2 decades before I wrote TypeScript, right? So I didn't have any types in the first place. So I would say when I would lie if I told you, hey, this is the right or wrong way, right? I honestly don't know. There's very little difference in there. I'm sure that there's more theoretical, by-the-book response you can find online. I would say it's way more important to stay due diligent and not use crappy types or unknowns or any's. I think it's a semantic type of thing, especially as a superset that TypeScript is, right, to JavaScript. As long as you use one or the other, or at least you decide some rules with your team, right? Enums are very important, right? Like enums are important because you want to kind of lock yourself into certain strings, if you may, right? So, I mean, technically you should never be hard coding strings around. So if you have an object of n number of well-established static properties, right? You should use an enum. So for example, now we're building this feature, I can show you, right? So for example, if we go to what it is resource that we just made, if we take a look at the schema, right? So for example, this is an enum, you could say. In this context, this is another JSON validator, AJV schema, but you could say this makes sense to make an enum. And if we take a look at the article table, for example, in my context, right? You could say that this source is an enum. If we actually go to the model definition, you can say source data types enum. And you want to do this so you basically confine yourself, imprison yourself within a specific number of strings, which are always constant, right? And this enables you to not miss. So for example, if I set this to string instead of an enum, then I risk being able to use any source here, even with a typo. So I might mistype. Some new developer might come and call this platforms or capital P, right? So following the defensive programming principles, and if you don't know what defensive programming is, you should read it. You want to safeguard yourself on every layer of your stack. So for example, we safeguard ourselves on a table level. So our table level is using data type, the enum itself. And then we restrict ourselves on a schema on a router level as well. So you can see we have a source that also enforces this. So if my UI sends this to the API is already going to reject it on an API level. It's not going to reach the database. And if we manage to somehow fail, so that's why hence defensive programming, you want to apply security and validation on as many layers as possible, then our database would also say, oh no, Alex, you cannot use platforms or capital platform. It has to be this, right? So this is why using enums in any context where such strings or numbers are there is very, very useful, right? So you safeguard yourself against typos, and also you can do enum dot something, right? So when you define a TypeScript enum, you can then say enum name dot this, enum name dot that. So you will typically see in JavaScript world people saying const some object, right? And then they will say, I don't know, you know, like a platform and then platform, right? And then across your code base, you would be like some object dot platform, right? So you can do the same with TypeScript enums, right? Which helps a lot. So yeah. So I would say it's way more important to think about enums than it is interface versus type. Okay, let me just do some self reflection here. Yes, sir. I am using Typebox with AJV, right? So that is, so one of the annoying things with Fastify, right? Especially when Fastify was initially built, is that it wasn't built with TypeScript first support, right? So one of the hard things about Fastify, and I would say typically many of the existing solutions, let me just draw it for you, is that like in Fastify, you have and in many other technologies, not just, you have another JSON validator schema. You have JSON schema, right? AJV. You have your ORM, whatever that is, whichever one you use. Let's say I'm using Sequelize, right? So you have types here. And then you might have, you know, so you have AJV, blah, blah, and then you have interfaces themselves, right? That you have to inherit from somewhere. So I think oftentimes, like I have failed with this probably more than anyone over the years, is that the developer often tries to find, engineer often tries to find a way, hey, is there a way for me to just have one type, right? Composed out of all three? And the answer is no. So what I've learned over time, not when writing Golang or some other languages, specifically when we write TypeScript, is like you need to confine yourself with types, right? So your ORM is going to provide model types, aka table types, right? And that's fine. But then your JSON schema in this context should only be used for validating your query parameters, body, response, you know, URL parameters, whatever. You should not mix them with other responsibilities. So essentially the interfaces that you inherit, static interfaces you inherit using typebox from this, so these, here you're gonna use the typebox between these two guys, right? Only use that for validation of your like route level validation. And then these things you will use to query things like, you know, user.find1, find by ID, whatever, right? I have failed probably more than anyone trying to be too clever over the years, trying to kind of figure out like a connection between all three, and then you have this one thing that knows everything. And that fails very, very quickly because you start using partial types, you start hacking things out. It becomes very, 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 very terribly annoying and hard to reason about. So now essentially, yeah, you use typebox as we use, for example, if we go to, I don't know, if we go to schemas here, right? And then you see here, we have a bunch of JSON schemas for validation. And then we also infer just a couple of types here for certain things, right? Then you know Mallow as good as I do, right? So it's just being too clever usually leads to being very dumb over the time. But that is the beauty of trying these things, because nothing yields better experience than failing, right? So that is, I mean, at least now you know, and if somebody asks you, you can elaborate it like a professional, not because you read an article or watched a YouTuber, right? So that's why it's so important to try out these things. And I would say this is how, even if you're a beginner programmer, even if one just started, I would always say try to derive patterns of programming through your own failure. So for example, I'm sure that many beginners would define a singleton pattern without even know it exists. I'm sure that many will come up with a factory pattern that they don't even know that's a pattern. And that is the beauty of it. Like, most of these patterns we use are the product of our failure or the product of seeing patterns. Like, shit, man, I just did this 15 times. If I could consolidate this into a single thing or whatever, right? So this is the beauty of writing code. As you write code, as you write it like this, and then you realize you can write it like this, and then like this, and then like this, you realize, ah, crap, man, there's so many ways, and I see patterns in these things, right? So this is why often people tell you the only way to become good at, let's say, programming is to build things. When they say this, that's what they mean. Not like literally just have a thing that you can click on, but internalize these patterns. And that's also why it's so hard to open the books of patterns. Like, let me read clean code, right? Let me read patterns. It's like, that is very hard. That is like saying, let me buy a hammer and a jigsaw and a you know, whatever, circular something, and then use them in isolation. No, I mean, it doesn't work like that. You need to open a carpeting store and then try to build a window, try to build doors, and then, you know, as you build the doors, you start on a very high level, you walk backwards and you say, oh, I can use this hammer to hit these nails to make these doors more less fragile. Oh, I can use this, right? So I would say that analogy applies to programming equally, right? That is the only way you can kind of learn these things, is by setting a goal. I want to build this, and walk backwards, right? Basically, almost like Steve Jobs said when he spoke about building products. He's like, start with the customer and the problem, and then walk backwards to technology, right? So it's the same basically thing I'm saying here. Jelly Motta, thank you very much for the follow. So I would say, guys, that the backend here looks pretty good. The only thing we'll need to do here is we're gonna have to do some. So these utils probably. How come you prefer Tybox over? I don't, man. Mellow, I don't keep track of these libraries, to be very honest with you. I use whatever works. I think we have Zod somewhere in this project already, maybe in the UI. I personally don't have preferences. Yeah, actually we're using Zod here, right? It's a matter of randomness, right? I think all of them do the work in a similar fashion. So you can see in our front end we're using Zod. I have no response. It's not even a preference. It was like whatever. It's like, hey, I need schema validation. What is out there? Oh, there's these things. Okay, are they stable? Yes. Are they community supported? Yes. Have they been out for a couple of years? Yes. You do your technical due diligence. You find something that's stable. So for example, a good example here is like Fastify versus this reactjs, whatever, right? You know, like this bun-based thing. It's like you might be tempted to say, oh, this is built on bun and bun is built in Rust. This is faster, blah, blah, blah. That is a very vague way of evaluating technology, right? It's like Fastify, for example, is very stable, very mature, very, very far, right? It's well established, well tested. Exactly. And also fast is a very, very, very dangerous zone to go at, right? Because these benchmarks usually are plain benchmarks built on hello world examples where you typically, if you've ever reached performance issues in your career, you know that you will reach them on a database level. So in very, very, very rare occasions, your API is going to be a bottleneck, because API you can scale in so many ways, horizontally, vertically. It's so easy, right? So it's like when people talk about scale and stuff, it's like, dude, you will way sooner need to scale your database than you will need to scale your API, right? I mean, I've seen this countless times in my career. So, but yeah, that's kind of it. So, very good question, man. Why one over the other? Honestly, no reason. They both work amazing, and I have no. Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Okay, so this is good. Okay, so let's actually write some code. I'm just talking like an idiot here. Okay, so the only thing I believe we need to do better here is, so we have this detect spam and stuff like that. This is obviously not sufficient enough. Actually, we are already using OpenAI in this platform to validate some things. I would be reluctant to do it here because we could spend a lot of credits, but I think the only way to actually detect spam is two things: machine learning models that we would have to train on a bunch of data, which we will never do because we don't have the data, or using OpenAI or some LLM model where we, for every imported article, we ask the AI, hey AI, is this article a spam? But we can't do that yet. Maybe in a couple of years when these models are self-hosted and when we can host it ourselves and stuff, we will do that, and I'm looking forward to these times. But for now, we need to have some algorithm like this where we try to assume, hey, is this thing, you know. And the only thing that I dislike exactly is this. So this breaks the UX a lot, right? Because let me show you like why some of these upfront rules are very terrible for user experience, right? So if I was importing articles now, so if I find this markdown file, right, and if I cut this title to 4 words, which is pretty valid, path to software quality. I think this would now fail to import because our schema is very, very restrictive, right? So let's actually go ahead and let's kind of, because yeah, let's remove this friction. Let's, you know, when you start building products, oftentimes what you really want to do in your product is ask a question: how do we remove friction? How do we make something that's frictionless for customers, for people using it, right? So let me just quickly go and see what are the so we have title likes. Let me just take a look at our table here very quickly. So we have no limits on the table, which is very good. So that means we can make this change very, very easily. And so we ironically also don't have any numbers here, or am I wrong? Oh, we do. Minimum length, yeah, that's pretty terrible. Maximum length, pretty terrible as well. With IO schemas, do you usually try to align with field names with ORM models? Yeah, exactly. I mean, my schemas usually resemble partially the tables, right? Right. So if you compare my schemas, they typically have the same names as tables and whatnot, right? So of course, I would say anything else would be illogical, simply because that would add even more complexity to this ever-growing layers of things. You have these interfaces, that interfaces, these schemas, right? So to reduce the headache of all that, you want to try and keep it as close to things as possible. Now, with AI, this is very, very easy. This is why I love AI, because it generates these things so easily, because AI really excels at the declarative things, right? And because our code and schemas and interfaces are very declarative by nature, this type of validation is really easy for AI to nail really well, right? And I've also seen it with Zod. Zod has these like kind of conditional statements where you can kind of pass in the entire object of all the fields, and then you can do these conditionals. If this field, if object dot field name X and this field blah blah. So AI is also very good at that. So AI is very good with declarative things. So less imperative the things are, I think better it performs. Oh yeah. So okay. So let's remove these things. Article schemas. Yes. So we can, instead of annoying people with these arbitrary things, what we can actually do, so I would say that having a minimum title length is a fair thing to say, right? Yeah, I love Fastify, man. I've been using Fastify now for many years. I think I was one of the very first beta testers as well when Matteo Collina released it. Actually, I might get Matteo Collina on this stream once, so you guys can talk to him. But yeah, let me do some radical decisions here. So let me just think. I'm sorry. Let me actually think this through with AI, okay? Let's just discuss this with AI. I have came to a realization that oftentimes, due to our very, very strict limits on certain fields, we move a problem to the customer user instead of intelligently solving it on our end. Simply put, min length, max length, etc. just blocks people to write things in the way that they want, simply because I'm lazy to properly, etc. cut the UI, cut the text out in the UI, etc. Let's discuss this. How would you go about removing these limitations, and what others typically do to improve overall experience for our users? And this is why I love AI, man. I can just talk to it now, validate my ideas against myself, and this is the biggest value for me. It's not even writing code. I can write code, even though that is amazing as well. Panosa, my friend, no bugs now. Panosa right now we are building, so I have improved the onboarding flow when you sign up to Programming Network. So right now I've added the markdown files, export, like import to tip-dap JSON, editor JSON state. So I'm now just trying to kind of, because there's very strict validation, for example, for articles like the title and stuff. I came to the realization it kind of just breaks the flow when people want to write things. Like, this has to be minimum this length. Like, for example, the title right now must be at least 15 characters. When I added this, I think that was absolutely a terrible idea. It's like, why does it have to be 15 characters? Why do I have to decide that for our users, right? So I want to kind of just reconsolidate this, rethink it a bit, because I also saw it now when I try to upload some of my own markdown files from like 10-15 years ago, some drafts and stuff. It just fails because my summary isn't of this length, right? So these are massive UX breakers. So instead of moving this responsibility onto the customer, onto the user, I would much rather move it to myself. So if your title is 300 words, we can cut it right in the UI instead of breaking the whole flow for you. Exactly, Panosa, exactly. Cedric, my friend, hey. Cedric, do you have an admin role on Twitch? Let me actually check. How do I check this? I don't know much about Twitch. Like, how do I do that? If I go to stream summary, no. Settings, maybe. Channel and videos, maybe. Moderation. Community roles manager, maybe. Oh, you are already a moderator. You are already a moderator. Why can't I make you a... Alright, well, you are already one. Okay, good. Alright, going back to this, so let's I don't think there is an admin, no. Okay, let's start here. Because I want to finish this importer. I want to finish this importer and actually push things to production already. So I would like to see, let's see. Where did you see that? Where did you see that? This one here. This is an AJV schema. This is an AJV schema, Panosa. So this is just I might use this for a response schema, right? So this is a left join. So this is just for validation. This is not the model, right? So this is typically in some query I'm gonna do a join, gonna add the author, and we need to have that in the schema as well. No, definitely not. The DB schema is here. So this is the DB schema, right? And of course, there's associations down here that will add user ID or author ID there. But yes, so this is some interface, and then this is the schema, yeah. I'd say let's remove max values. In create and update methods, if summary is empty, missing auto-generate from the first character. No, I'm not sure I want this, right? But let's see. Panosa, I hope you stick around a bit. Maybe my soothing voice improves your coding capabilities. Screw you too, man. Screw you too. But wait, considering we will infer summary from the article, then maybe not, right? Okay, let's see. We're gonna start with this. So then our importer is less scared about failing. And then we need to review Cedric's PR and merge that as well. So Cedric, if you're around, let me finish this and then we're gonna do that. Okay, let's execute this and then review the living crap out of it, because of course it needs this badly. And then we'll maybe shift a bit. you will get a lot of review on that PR for sure, but I know that you're fine with that, so it's fine. Okay, very good. Yes. Let's I mean, this should be pretty minimal change, honestly. So let's see. I would expect this to be very small, nothing major here. So yeah, let's give it a chance. wait. I'd say this type of stuff belongs inside some sort of utils. Wait. What is it called? Agents. Exactly, okay. Need to guide it already. Tip tap utils, then we need to test this out. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Demi, I think that's a very good deal, yeah. My personal non-Mac laptop, so not the work one, has similar configuration. I think I paid it like 900 euros. It's very, very good. It's Lenovo something. Okay, now we're back to front end. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine, I guess. But then we need to make the summary optional here as well, right? So these errors don't fart out. What? Okay, sure. So far good. No, wait a minute, bro. That's so fucking bad. Why are you writing utilities for generating, for summary, etc. in the UI? API will deal with that if the UI doesn't send a summary. No need for this. Why are you doing this, man? Ah, I see. Exactly. Okay, good. We'll also need to unit test the living crap out of this. So, well, AI will do that for us. Ellipsis, sure. Oh wow, it's actually writing tests already. Very nice. Ah, we actually have them already. Okay, it's just updating the existing ones. Very good. Ah, so nice. How brilliant is this? Oh my god. Imagine needing to just update just these test files now. It would take me like an hour. Beautiful. Absolutely. Both are passing all tests. Beautiful. Okay. All right, so let's do a little test here. Let's see how fragile this is. So let me go to all right, so let me fetch my old blog. This is my old blog, like from many years ago, or well, not the oldest one, but still. So let me find it here. Let me clone this thing. So I'm gonna say git clone Alexander. All right, cool. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm gonna open this in a different cursor instance. We're gonna go here, continue, accept, and then we're gonna drag some. What? Where's my? Did it not open or something? Cursor. Okay, now it did. Okay. And then let's go to drafts. Let's reveal this. And then I'm gonna close this crap. Yeah, I'm originally from Bosnia. Yeah, we haven't been living there in many years. I live in Denmark with my wife and kids for many years now. Yeah, that kind of sums it up, yeah. Pozdrav to you as well, man. So many of our people on Twitch, man, it's crazy. Every time people ask me and then I say, there's a lot of Muslims in Bosnia. I mean, I'm not a Muslim, and I wouldn't say that there are many mosques in Bosnia. I mean, there's many churches in Bosnia as well and many mosques, and, you know, more power to that, to people who do whatever they prefer. But I'm not a Muslim. I'm a Serb. Even though in Bosnia there is differences are marginal, we are all very similar people. Okay, import. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so what we actually have to do, cursor. Let's actually get back here. So what I'm actually gonna do, because this is my old tip-tap stuff, I'm actually gonna go to my drafts here. No, that's not what I want. I'm gonna say find in folder. I'm gonna say categories. And I'm actually gonna rename that to tags, because this is why this didn't work. Okay. So now all of the categories are kind of tagged like this. Beautiful. Cool. And then now we can try again. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna I'm gonna go back, even though we did kind of succeed somewhere. So let's refresh. So we're gonna go continue, we're gonna go accept, we're gonna go markdown files, and then we're gonna go and try again with these three guys. So I'm just choosing literally articles, my drafts from very long ago. So import. Nice. Okay, so it imported all three. Future of remote work, working from home successfully, one's life in a world of madness. Okay, wow, that is very deep. Okay, that is very deep. Let's go to the database. Let's go to the user. Let me give myself back a missing username, so I'll just say this. And then let's go to the actual dashboard and let's go to articles. And yeah, nice, man. So the import works really well. It imports the tags. Very good. Working from home successfully also works. Future of remote work. True. Okay, and let's actually take a look at it here. So what is this? Future of remote work? No, but what are the 3 ones that I actually imported? Wait. Crap, where was it? Keeping yourself in order. No, not this one. Habits. I think it actually did it well, right? If we go back to that, we just need to now literally do manual, like a manual social pressure company culture, okay? Yeah, that is true. That is true. Okay, so we can kind of see here that, yeah, the import isn't perfect because you can see that these were actually headings, H1s. But for some reason, it imported them as just regular text. And then we had some quotes here that kind of didn't work. So let's kind of write these things down. So importer fails to so probably markdown to tip tab JSON fails to properly parse headings, heading 1s, probably others as well, quotes, etc. So we'll need to take a look at that. We'll have to take a look at that now. But overall, we see that it kind of works. So we just imported multiple files, and they are drafts. That's what we wanted. Oh no, actually, no. It's good actually. What? Oh, what? What is? Ooh, I see. Huh. So how come that our renderer doesn't get this? So our TipTap actually does understand this. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, no. This is not a bug. It's actually a feature. So I don't allow H1s because when I've built TipTap, I've created this amazing system where every TipTap instance that it's bound to its navbar, so you can have different instances with different like toolbar functions. And then I also say, hey, in this, yeah, exactly. So if I actually go to, where would that be? But if we go, let me show you. If we go to article index, oops, that's a wrong project. Give me 2 seconds. So if we go to article index, somewhere there's going to be a renderer, I'm sure, comment section, reactions, article header, yeah, highlight over here. And then we have generate sanitized HTML. So this is the kind of system that I built. I think we import that. Yeah, here it is. So you can see here. So for every single TipTap instance, we support different functions in the toolbar. But that also means that we only allow rendering of these types of HTML tags in that specific context, right? So in simple words, like if the TipTap editor supports these, then only these will be actually rendered in the view. So that's why I can see these are H1s, but if we view the article, they're not rendered because we sanitize due to security and stuff, right? So this is actually functioning as it should. And now, of course, we need to figure out like, hey, should we write a logic that, because technically you shouldn't be using more than one heading in your article, right? So, and that should be your title. Everything else should be either H2s or... Yeah, so in this context, I would say, Cedric, like we would need to say, hey, whenever you stumble upon and this is actually fairly simple. I think we can do this, and we will do this now because we have this in a utility, right? So if we go to the API, somewhere in this markdown parser that we wrote, so we can kind of give this to the AI and say, when we parse the actual markdown to JSON, what we need is if the there can only be one h1 tag, which is the article title. Rest is h2 or lower. That means if we stumble upon h2s, h1s, we need to ensure to convert them to h2s, right? So essentially, I think what we wrote here is actually wrong. This is not an issue, it's a feature. We have also done this, beautiful. Let's actually do this instead. I think this is correct, yes. Yes, beautiful. Okay, I guess we can execute this. Let's go. And then we'll see now as we test things that come as we do them. And then we'll try these articles again. Let's actually nuke them for now, I suppose. And then we'll try fail to delete the item. Oh, yeah, because the API has probably restarted, yeah. And I actually despise this utility, so we'll kind of maybe... Let's first see if the tests are passing and stuff after this, but I'm kind of not a fan of how this is written. So I will want to write this a little bit better. This is too imperative for me, for my likings. Yeah. Okay, I mean, it's basically just updating the test because behavior we've just introduced is very different. We have updated our schemas, the min and max limits and stuff. So this is now just essentially saying, hey, for example, summary is no longer mandatory. Our limits are way more generous now, etc., etc., etc. So what it's doing here is very accurate, and this is why we need to have tests in the first place. So we have something to, we prevent regressions, but we also have something to explicitly update. If you're updating your tests, that means that you have explicitly changed something. So in a way, yeah, that's why it's important that we have them. Let's also run them here once like this. What? Where's this test? Oh, I see. Convert heading to tip-tap structure. So is it this one that fails? Heading first node should be head. Yeah. Dan Morty, hey buddy, I don't know what that means, but hi to you as well. I suppose that means, hey Alex, what's up, my dude? If that is the case, what's up to you as well, man? I see. That makes sense, yes. Cool, man, cool. I'm happy you like my stream, man. I think that's what you now wrote. You said, what a great stream, Alex. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, my dude. It's very kind of you to say. Okay, so let's give it a shot now. Let's give it a shot. La la la, where is it? Yes, yes. Ooh, what? What the hell did we just do, bro? Username, update, cool. Yeah, man, my wife usually takes care of these types of things because she's way smarter in that sense. So she always goes to multiple of these stores, you know, to buy, you know, in some stores, certain things are cheaper than in the others, right? Max, my friend, hey. Okay. Oh, fuck, we hit the rate limit, okay? Let's update the table, the tabel. Let's update the tabel. Tabel, remove these records. But I mean, guys, these guys from Brussels are telling us that it's all fine. Like, how come now things are expensive? They keep telling us that we need more money into military and stuff. What are you saying? Are you saying that they're wrong? That life isn't perfect? What is wrong with you? Ursula Van whatever, she says that things are amazing, so are you saying that Ursula is wrong? Is that what you're saying, guys? How dare you? How dare you disagree with her, man? E9S, hey buddy. Okay, so another thing we just found is that... Okay, well, first and foremost, before we proceed with these things, so I have these articles to test with, so we're going to actually test with these 4, but we can see that we have stumbled upon something else, which is probably Markdown X that doesn't work. So let's go, and we are building, just for the Programmer Network platform, we're building a Markdown importer, so if you decide to move and write articles on Programmer Network, you can do that from today. You can just import them all, and we're going to convert them for you, etc, etc. So we're now kind of pretty far with that. Yeah. Okay, so let's see now what we imported and if our kind of new logic works. Yeah, crap. Okay, maybe. Yes, it works. Okay, good, good, good. So hopefully these are now H2s, and they are. Ah, so easy. Okay. So that one is fixed, you could say. But we have stumbled upon something else that we need to check out right now. Python for JS developers. Okay, I didn't even know that I wrote about that. What? When did I write about that? Ah, in 2019. Okay, I had no idea I was writing Python back then. Oh man, look at this shit. Resources to write this post. Table of contents. Oh, I see. I'm writing HTML in here. Okay. Okay, let's ask AI about this, obviously. What would we need to be able to support this type of markdown. Right now we can't convert this as it fails. Let's see, I don't think we will actually do this. I don't think we can support this complexity of a markdown, but let's see, because I remember included the table in here and a bunch of other things. So let's see. But I remember I was trying to write like the most awesome guide and like just quickly jumping on Python. So as you can see, I was doing like comparisons, like how you do things in JS, you know, variable hoisting, prototypal inheritance and all of that, and then comparing that to Python and stuff. No, it's not. It's markdown to TipTap JSON, and that already works. But now we're trying more complex markdown files, so we need to understand what the limitations are. So we either solve the limitations or we in the UI we explain the limitations. So it's a very binary problem. You can either allow insanely complex mix of markdown and stuff to work, or if you can't, well, you need to tell the users, hey, if you try our importer, well, this is what's going to work, and this is what's not going to work, right? Okay, AI is helping a lot here. This is amazing, and I like a lot of these suggestions already. Absolutely. Let's do this. So for TipTap, I'm using TipTap Markdown. So TipTap Editor already provides a utility to convert things from HTML from Markdown to TipTap. But let me just try to elaborate it a bit, right? So this is the flow, right? You have markdown.md file, okay? You have md file. Give me 1 second. No, we don't need anything else. The libraries for this already exist. So you have a markdown file, and this file can vary in complexity. Complexity varies, right? It can be an MDX file. It can be a lot of things, right? And of course that. Then we need to convert into TipTap JSON. And then we, of course, as always, we store that JSON in a DB, right? So now this flow works, but now we need to push it and see how far we can get before we can't go any further. So that's what we're gonna do now. So now we're gonna, now we're gonna do that. We're gonna see how much of it can we in fact properly convert. And then once we hit the limit, we're gonna explain that in our UI, saying we support Markdown to JSON, but note, for example, MDX files are not supported. So we need to get to a level of understanding of the problem as much as possible. And then for the things we can't solve, we just need to communicate to the users like, hey, this is not going to work because of this and that, right? We have already limited the size. Those are very basic things. Don't worry about that. These things are already done. We're not talking about the size. We're talking about complexity of the markdown, not of the arbitrary validation things, right? Validation, let's not talk about it because validation is already there, and that is the basic type of stuff, right? So now we need to figure out how complex some of these markdown files are for most people, and then we want to see how, yeah. Let's switch to this agent's view so we can actually see a little bit better what is it doing. Okay, wow, this actually worked. Okay, very good. So I can actually already see that it did something, so that's very good. And this is the test file, okay? Then we're gonna do, it's writing some HTML stripping type of test, so it's gonna strip some HTML. Very good. Very, very good. Very, very good, I would say. I'm very impressed. Very impressed here. It seems that all tests are passing. Do you ever end up going in circles with AI? I do not, no. Because I spend most of my time in a planning mode. So once I finish a task, I go back to a plan mode. AI is an amazing tool, but it's very amazing when you use it properly, right? So as I said several times, you should forget that this agent mode exists. You should be in the plan mode 90% of the time. So you do something, you switch back to the plan mode, you guide it, you make sure that you understand the problem and the solution to some degree as well, and then that the AI understands it as well, right? So I would say oftentimes you might think that it's the AI problem, but very often it's a human problem. Very often the reason why you end up in circles isn't the AI, it's you. You don't know either what you want or how to do it at all. So that is typically why often it seems it's the AI, but it's not. In most cases, it's the human that fails, not the AI. The output of AI is directly proportional to your input. So if your input sucks, the output is going to suck. This really is true for both when you're talking to humans and when you're talking to AI. There's no difference. If you say stupid stuff to your friend, he will only be able to respond in a stupid way. There's no other way, right? Okay. Python. Okay, so now it succeeded actually. Very amazing. So now it succeeded. Let's see what it actually succeeded and if it parsed this properly or not. Wow, dude, it actually worked. Can you review my portfolio website? Maybe later I can, not yet. I need to do the work still, but give me a couple of minutes and then I can, sure. Okay, so it failed basically parsing the table. So you could say, I'm not gonna be ungrateful. It would be nice if we can kind of figure that one out as well. So actually, Cedric, we're gonna do that right now. Give me a moment. It almost looks perfect. The only thing it failed with is the table. But actually, I don't think this is an issue with the table per se. I think this is an issue with the fact that I don't support tables inside of TipTap. So to its defense, yeah, I don't think we have a TipTap table at all. Table extension, yeah, exactly, right? Okay. Ah, fuck. No. Okay, let's do it now, Cedric. Let's do it now. Let's review your stuff now. Because, yeah, you're gonna have to. So, like you said, if I have a lot of comments, then you would like to do it. So, I do have a lot of comments. So, let's... I'm not going to pull it to my computer, but, yeah, let's... yeah. So, okay, let's start with your PR, okay? Okay, so let's start from here, right? So, and I mean, these comments that AI already left are correct, okay? So note that this is already correct. So you should do them. But let me, can I like hide this somehow? I don't know how. Okay, so let's start here. So of course, this code is... This is not a great piece of code, right? Okay, let me try to compose my thoughts a bit. So first and foremost, let's start from the use infinite. So you have added query parameters here because you want to do pagination in use infinite, right? This means that the URL is going to be updated. So if we go to production now and if we go to community here, you could say that as you scroll, the URL is going to be updated with the current pagination, right? I don't think that's necessary per se, unless you want to expose these query parameters like this for some reason to someone. If that is the case, if that is your conscious technical decision, then I can say, let's go with that. I don't think that somebody is going to come here and say, I want to go to page 4. Unless, again, you disagree with me, right? So in simple words, I don't think we need URL parameters here. You can keep the cursor, you can keep the position in state. And of course, the downside of that, maybe you could say is like, well, what if I refresh the page? Is that going to return me to the page 1? Yes, it will. So you can say, yeah, that is... So it's more about, is it necessary? Is somebody going to use these query parameters to say, oh, I want to share page 7 of programmer network community? So I don't think that's necessary. So if it's not necessary, I would not expose this to URL parameters at all. So this whole thing would go away. Okay. And I would deal with pagination just as we're dealing with now in memory pagination, meaning as you scroll, some, you know, when you do an HTTP request next time, we increment some number and that's it. This is, of course, absolutely not allowed. You cannot use like you would never merge anything in this project if with a code like this, especially because we have all the types. Things are very nicely typed, so you cannot do this, right? that's just not possible. Just not acceptable in a code base. All right, I'll just leave these comments. No, not at all, man. Not at all, dude. Absolutely not. As discussed, let's not expose this, as it's not a feature we like to have right now. Simply put, we don't need to expose this input to the URL parameters, as we don't think that users will go to a community page and manually update the pagination number. What the fuck is happening, bro? We are using typed system, hence using any or unknown is strictly prohibited. Read the agent's MD file in this very project to understand the constraints and the style we're writing. Move this entire logic inside a custom hook. Use developer list or similar. Also explained inside agents MD file. Instead of showing a spinner, let's maybe try to add a skeleton for the member cards. Look through the project and find inspiration. Just search for skeleton and you will find a way. I cannot do it now because I'm doing this now, so you need to wait until I finish this. This has nothing to do with vibing, man. I'm leaving comments on PR. If you don't like it, man, just don't watch it. It's so simple. So easy. So many other things to do. This feels wrong. Let's say JS. Let's do something like no country, return, otherwise Okay, cool. Manual casting is not allowed. Again, read our agents MD. I think that's kind of it. Cedric, I left you these comments. I think you can work through this. I think, yeah. So I think you have something to do. Of course, man, thank you. And if there's anything unclear, of course, just feel free to ask me. But I think you get it for the most part. Just make sure that you read agentsmd file in both projects, because here I've defined a lot of things on how we do them, etc., etc. Yeah. Okay, amazing. So where were we? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so what was I doing? Yeah, so we were adding back the table, the tip-tap table, right? But let's actually see where we have to do that, because I think we need to update our core library, right? So if we go to the front end, if we search for tip-tap, I don't think, yeah, we don't have any tip-tap here. Okay, so let's kind of go to our Louis GUI. Let's check out the master. Let's git pull. Let's, that's great. Let's nvm use. Let's run the storybook. Cool. And now we're gonna go there actually and extend it. So we're gonna go to cd again, Louis GUI, and we're gonna also start supporting this table, right? So let's actually install it. We're gonna add the table. We're gonna go to our do we actually have our Yale library here? Yeah, we do. Okay. So let me go to tip-tap that we built, index extensions right over here. Yes. Let's snag this bad boy here. Table kit. Yes. Yes. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. I'm still waiting. That's okay, man. Keep waiting. I mean, again, we have to finish some of the things before we do it, dude. If you're in a hurry, if you have to go, let me know, and of course we can do it. But again, you have to be a bit patient. I'm sure that people didn't come here to watch me review someone's CV, so I'm very happy to do it, but give it a second, man. Okay, so that is good, I guess. That is the basic. Let's go ahead and now extend. So we have the table here. I'm level 60. I'm level 60 under the mage. Tip-tap utils. Soon with you, and then we review it, I promise. Green belt, exactly. Let me just speed it up a bit. I've just added. Let's ensure we complete the setup and create a storybook where we can test it. Then we have to deploy this to npm, because this is Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm not a senior. I'm a undead mage level 60. I'm just kidding. You can find my LinkedIn in the description of the stream and then see my experience. Exactly. I think this implementation of TipTap I did a couple of years ago is probably still one of the most awesome ones online. It's really good. Okay, let's try and then we'll see. And let's actually take a look at the documentation here, how they do it. Do they actually have a preview somewhere that we can take a look at? Examples maybe. Yeah, examples, default text editor. Okay, sure. Is there a table somewhere? Tabel? Tables, okay. Nice, okay. So here are the tables. Okay, very good. Wow, the extension they've added is very nice. Okay, good. That is awesome. Okay. Okay, let's see what AI is gonna help us with here. Nice. Very nice. Okay, simple and nice. Very good. Let's add that. Oh, we have new people signing up today. Thank you very much. NND Shivam Ross. Yes, welcome. Welcome. Where is our stuff? Over here, right? Yeah. Yes, that's correct. That is correct, in fact. Correct, yes. Sure. That's you. Nice. Okay. Just leave the link to your website there, and then I'll find you there. Okay. So just update your. Just make sure that you. Yeah, it is. Everything that we do here is for Programmer Network, right? So E9S, just go to your profile and edit your profile, and then under the profile you can add your website here, and then you can just go edit, and then I'll click on it. I think it's easier than reading the Very nice, beautiful. Okay, that's a lot of CSS, but that's what it is. Sure, agreed. Okay, and the stories. Oh, so nice. Okay, let's open our awesome storybook. Let's go to our tip tab here. Table. Hopefully it's gonna work. Nice, man. Wow, that is awesome. Cool. It works. Very nice. And then we're rendering it as well. Probably gonna have to work on the render, so the render is a little bit better. Let's go ahead and update this icon. It's kind of super fat, but yeah, that is I respect that, and we can probably add resizing as well and stuff if we want to, but it actually just did something that. What is broken, Cedric? Send you on Discord. Give me 1 second. Did your Git pull? Do you have the latest changes? Did your Git pull? How long do you code per day? I mean, I go to work like most people, so I code at work a bit. I don't know, man. I don't quantify coding per hour. That makes no sense. I have 2 kids and a wife and a full-time job and other activities, so I typically code a bit at work and that's it. And sometimes I stream. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Let's see. This was kind of working. So it's almost great, I would say. It's almost awesome. Let's just go back here. They also have this tasks thing, which is also very nice. Yeah, we should probably, but this goes off scope, so let's not focus on that. Yeah, let's not focus on that today. Click the table icon to start the table. Okay. Posted the link. Yeah, sure. Great, man. I'll take a look at it. Right-click inside a table cell for context options. Yeah, there's no context options. So yeah, that's a little bit useless right now. So we only insert the stuff, but... Oh, I see. What? Using the table controls. Click the right-click inside a table cell. Okay, let's just quickly do this, review some CV, and then we'll see. Yeah, but you should have added your CV here, right, as well. I think it's weird when you just share it like this, but it's fine. But you should have shared it, as I said, you should have added it to your profile, not here, right? But okay, fine. You can do whatever you wish. Let me copy this off screen first to see what it is before, yeah. All right, let's take a look at it very quickly. So nobody on earth is gonna read this. I'm a realist. I'll give you very quick thing. I've been in this industry for a very long time. I've been hiring people. I still hire people. So I'll tell you how recruiters think, how professionals think. So nobody cares about these. This first of all, contrast of colors is very bad. Nobody can read what this text says. I guess it says personal portfolio, but it's unclear. All of this stuff can be aggregated, and if you... Let me show you one thing. This is the guy who created Vue.js, okay? This is his portfolio. This is who I am, this is what I do, this is my GitHub. This is a guy who created AngularJS, Igor Minar. This is his website, right? This is my old website. I've been a programmer for 2 decades. It's very simple. You go here, you see what I do, right? No spinners, no bullshit, right? No icons, no exaggeration. Very easy to read, very nice contrast, etc., right? If we find, let's say, Matteo Colina, creator of Fastify.js, this is his website, right? Hey, this is what I do. Subscribe to my newsletter. This is who I am. This is the picture of me, and that's it. When I look at your website here, I don't know where to look, right? And it's just massively like, right? nobody cares about this, right? Also, people care about your GitHub page and see like actually what you're doing and how long. So I can see in 2023 you maybe made your account, you never did anything. 2024 you barely did something. So I can see that you're very, very junior, which is fine. And that's what I see. If I was a recruiter and I checked your profile, I would say, okay, this is a very junior person that is kind of fiddling with some technology lately, but that's it. So all of this stuff can be aggregated into basically something like this, right? That's it. So nobody on earth will stand on your website and look for your spinners. I love technology, email me and stuff like that, right? So this is not how it works. So this should be your inspiration. Hey, I am Shivam Ross. So I am Shivam Ross, or whatever is it, 1S, right? And then this is what I do. I am, you know, I am a junior developer looking for internship opportunities, blah, blah, blah. Check out my GitHub, and that's it. Opportunities, please check out my GitHub and my LinkedIn profile. Thank you. This should be your website, literally, with a link to something relevant that you have to show. And this is, recruiter is gonna maybe see this, maybe, and you should maybe include your CV here. And that's it, right? Yeah, that is a good website, yeah. That's what I'm trying to build with Programmer Network, where you can share your profile, and this profile aggregates everything you do. Your thoughts, your articles, your repositories, your experience, your meetups. So the idea of Programmer Network is that we create the most valuable possible profile for programmer professionals. So when you send this is who I am, these are my links, these are my interests, and that's it, right? So you can quickly skim through and see what is this person doing, what is their experience, are they writing anything they're passionate about? Let me take a look at their like repository so I don't have to go to 700 different places. Done. This and this again are top-notch guys in the industry. These are their websites, right? Thoughts are like tweets, articles are like technical articles. So I would say that thoughts are like a short tweets, right? You say, hey, this is what I'm doing. You see what I sometimes post, like today I took my kid to judo, so while he was training in a sports hall over there, I was just writing an article, right? So that's like, hey, I'm doing something. So it's just like checking in very quickly, right? I'm a Rust dev at the web company. I actually don't care about these details. I didn't get that from your portfolio, right? You can think that you are God mode. When I see your profile, you're very, very junior, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can think of yourself as whatever you want to be. When I look at your GitHub, you're very, very, very junior. And that's now, can GitHub account lie? Sure. But you didn't convey to me anything. So if you wrote something like this, and you said, hey, I'm a Rust programmer, I work with Web3, these are the projects and companies that I worked with, take a look at my LinkedIn, that's it, right? That's all you need. If I click on this guy's GitHub, I see a lot of things, right? I see how many years approximately he's been doing things, I can see the projects that he's built, etc., right? So you can, of course, think of yourself to be whatever you want to be. I can also think that I'm a Batman, but that's not gonna make me a Batman, right? I can think still and feel to be a Batman, right? But I'm not one. So this stuff, I don't even know where I would start reading, right? It's right. So I can't click on these things. I'm not gonna use that to judge you. I'm gonna use anything that you shared with me to judge you, of course. So you probably wouldn't have shared GitHub with me, right? He has shared GitHub with me. So I think you're looking at it very wrong. If you have been a programmer for 20 years and you explicitly shared your GitHub with me, of course that I would judge you by GitHub. You literally shared it with me. I don't know who you are, right? So we're talking about people, you want to sell yourself, and I see your profile for the first time. I don't know who you are. I only know what I see. And what I see here, that Shivam, when I click here, for the first time on GitHub has been active this year, right? That's what I see. Is that objectively true? It's not. Well, then don't share it if it's not true. Then share something that's more true, right? Fair enough. We are on the same. We are absolutely saying the same thing. If you have something else to show, then that's what you show. So if Shivam claims that he's a C Rust programmer, I don't see that. I see TypeScript everywhere. I don't see a single word of Rust here. Where is Rust? TypeScript, 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 right? So what are we talking about, right? And plus, this is ridiculous. I would never, if somebody would send me their profile with this picture, like of some anima bullshit, I would just stop looking immediately. If you want to be perceived as professional, use your fucking image, man. Like, put your name there, like, basic things, right? You put your name, your image, so I see who you are. You are literally looking for work. Like, what is this, man? What is this, right? Are we in some sort of a fucking fairyland, right? So, as I said countless times, your life on the internet if you want to impress people, if you want to be perceived, if you want to gain traction online, you have to behave online as you're behaving offline. So, Billy, I think you know the drill. If you've been a programmer as well for 20 years, I think you're old enough. Rust is in company's GitHub. I don't care, man. I don't care. Like, I mean, I gave you my feedback. What you're gonna do with it is up to you. I'm not here. You don't need to sell yourself to me or justify yourself. I'm telling you, your website is meaningless. It doesn't convey any ideas. I don't know who you are when I look at this. And I gave you some examples of top people in the industry that can actually help you. So that's it, right? Now, are you gonna act on it or not? Typically, when somebody gives you feedback, this is what you should do. You should say, thank you, man, in this context. Thank you, Alex. I've heard your feedback. I'm not saying that you should take it or not. You should say, thanks, man. I will consider your feedback and act or not act, right? But the worst thing you can do when somebody gives you feedback is try to defend it. Like, I gave you the feedback that's honest. I think it's objectively correct feedback because I looked at thousands of these CVs and websites over the years, and that's what I would do, right? So again, if somebody would send me a page like this, I would close it in 1 second. In 1 second. So, and every other recruiter would do the same. So just note that, right? I'm passionate about building scalable applications and user interfaces. That means nothing to nobody. Every single programmer on earth is gonna say that they're passionate about building scalable applications. No programmer on earth is gonna say, I am passionate about building non-scalable apps. That is ridiculous, right? So, so anyway, if I look at this, there's nothing to do with you with Rust, React, CSS, JavaScript, HTML. So that's who you are, basically. Yep. I mean, I give feedback to my team. I give feedback to myself. I reflect every night. All of us need feedback. I get feedback from my peers. I work in technical management, so I get feedback from a CTO. So we all get feedback. We just get different level of feedback, right? And feedback has to be honest, and it has to, no matter how hurtful sometimes it is, it has to help the person getting it, right? So, so that's what I would do. I put my money where my mouth is. That's why, if you guys remember, even on Programmer Network, let me show you, even when you sign up on Programmer Network, for those of you who actually decided to spend literally 10 seconds and sign up, even on Programmer Network, let me show you, when you go through a onboarding flow, when you sign up, look what I say here. If you decide to not share your personal information, we say this platform is designed to showcase your skills and help you build your professional presence. A complete profile makes you more discoverable, establishes credibility, and opens doors to opportunities. Think of it as your professional storefront. The more you share, the easier it is for others to find and connect with you. This isn't Twitter. We're a community of developers here to learn, collaborate, and help each other. Why am I writing this? Because a lot of younger people come to platforms like Programmer Network, LinkedIn, and stuff, and they do things like NND, coys, right? It's like, man, try to impress people, especially if you're into the industry right now. Try to gain networking opportunities. Try to expose yourself in as many ways as possible. When you name yourself Kubade 2020, and when you use an image like this, nobody fucking knows who you are. Like, you're not providing value for yourself at all, right? So when somebody finds this profile, let's imagine I brought some recruiters to this platform one day, I brought some companies, you know, whatever. They don't know what Kubade is. They don't know who this person is, how to contact them, what to do, right? So don't underestimate the importance of social presence. Like, I cannot convey enough how important it is to have a good quality social presence. Like, when you go to LinkedIn, like here, and for example, I go to my own profile, you want to impress people in every possible way. This is also where I'm not an exception to this rule. I also get jobs through LinkedIn, through my networking, through my references, right? So at every possible way, I want people, when they look at my profile, okay, this is the guy, this is what he does, blah blah blah. So, and this shouldn't differ in any way. It's agnostic of the platform. Anywhere you go, try to expose yourself in a way where you never know who you're going to impress. Sometimes it's going to be a random person who's going to say, oh, John Doe, I really like how you think. I saw your post on LinkedIn. You know, let's contact, right? So the power of networking, right? Try to lick some ass. I mean, we are all ass lickers, right? Every single one of us, to some degree, is an ass licker. That's how the world works. You can, of course, say ass licker, but it's not. It's called networking, right? I mean, that thing is, like, this is what attracts people to other people. It's like not your core skills, because you don't know the core skill of someone when you meet them. What you do know about someone when you meet them, right, is how they look like, how they speak, how they articulate themselves, how kind they are, right? So these are the first impressions. And this doesn't differ if it's a girlfriend, if it's a business partner, if it's a friend. Your first impression goes a long way, or goes nowhere, right? So if you join platforms like Programmer Network or any other of millions platforms out there, try to, you know, put yourself there, right? It's a shame to waste your own time with these like 7-year-old childish fucking in-game nicknames, right? You did, Cedric, man. You did, of course, bro. You're an amazing. I mean, Cedric, I'm as you know, I'm not a like classical streamer. I stream every now and then. Through this very stream, 2 of the people that got to impress me has both gotten the jobs because I was their reference. So there was a girl from Sweden, what's her name, Nora? A company from Sweden contacted me. Like, I told her literally just, and I, as a tech lead, you know, they checked my profile. I was a reference. She got a job. Kirill, also from Canada as well. He used to be part of this. So. And I'm just a random example, but you can make these contacts, these impressions, right? Anywhere, right? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking out of my asshole, right? It's try to leave good impression anywhere you are. It doesn't have to be on the street. It can also be on the internet, right? I mean, it's not a Stone Age anymore, you know. People know each other over the web as well, and they become real friends. You don't have to sit in the same room, you know, to be a friend or etc., right? Okay, oof. No, no, man, but it's still fine. I mean, it's still you there, right? I believe you know more than me about this, but I remember someone saying having one chat box for 2 streams was banned on Twitch. Are you aware of this? I don't think that's true. I think maybe a year or two ago, I mean, I'm not a regular streamer, but I think I read somewhere that Twitch has removed these restrictions. Carrier gap of 3 years, should I join again? Can you please write the full question? You're giving me the fragments of information. Can you please write the question, what the question is? I don't know, Atmara, what you're asking. Can you just write a full sentence, please, so I can understand what you're asking? I mean, how crazy that is. Let me tell you another story. I met another guy when Panosa, you see Panosa and I almost also met here in Copenhagen. Hopefully one day we will. But Sako, I don't know Panosa if you remember Sako became one of my best friends here in Copenhagen, guy that I met on this very stream. Now I hang out with his wife and my wife and their kids and our kids. So it's just ridiculous. Then, you know, Cedric almost came to my place maybe a few weeks ago, but he canceled it, right? So this is like, what, 4 people, 5 people already. So it's not a bullshit, right? People can meet online and become friends. It's not an uncommon thing to do, right? So that's why I say building your online presence is incredibly important, right? Because you never know who's gonna find you and how you're gonna, what's gonna happen. I have 4 points of experience. After that, I took 3 years career. Can you join? I mean, I guess you can, man. I mean, I'm not a that is. I can give you my opinion on many things, but opinions are like assholes. You know, everybody has one. So I would say, can you join? I mean, I guess you should be able. I don't see a reason. I don't see a reason why not to, right? But how you're gonna do it and stuff, that's, yeah. Motherfucker. Classical Panosa, that's why I love you, man. I'm the same character-wise. That's also depressing really much, but I change very little as well, which is a sad fact of life. People who don't change, they're typically left out in history. Okay, let's actually do this. Let's code in parallel. Adapt, evolve, exactly, man. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Give me 1 second, fellas, please. I need to do one thing. I built this feature very, very long ago. Very long ago. Cognizant. I don't know what cognizant is. Vinny Robot. Thank you very much for that thing. Add column left, right? Wow. Okay, that is a pretty terrible UX. Okay, it's still doing some stuff. Okay, we'll need to. Yeah, I mean, obviously we can't have it like this. There's no question about that. Okay. Okay. Okay, that is not bad. All right, I will not say that anymore. I know it must be annoying. It must be annoying. Okay, this is almost awesome. Would you say that every engineer should be full stack? Absolutely. I think as the AI takes toll on a lot of things that will be automated due to their due to the fact that many things that are, as I always say, things that can be automated should be automated. So as many things we automate and we make it easy to implement, diversifying your skill set is going to become very important. Yes. Am I saying that you shouldn't be expert in things? No, I'm not saying that. I think knowledge always it wins. But I would say that yes, learning new things and deepening our horizons is very important. Definitely, man. 100%. Okay, this is actually very good. Okay, that is perfect. But we need to put this under some sort of drop down, as this is a pretty terrible UI UX. I think if I recall from a long ago, I think we're using Tippy or some library for but it doesn't matter. Let's see. My friend is yeah, I'm not sure if that's a statement or a question, E96, but yeah. Yeah, actually, I'm looking forward to finish this article. I think you guys are gonna love it a lot. I wrote like almost 1,500 words. I wrote this morning for 2 hours. My son was in judo, just training with their friends there in the background, and I was just writing. Oh man, I got into such flow. It was awesome. Didn't even have headphones or anything like that. Just went in there and dude, it was so nice. So nice. The topic, the article is called, give me 1 second. So the article is called, the topic is about self-reflection. So I got this e-ink tablet. I got this e-ink tablet recently. And I started writing evening diaries. So every day, you know, I work in a technical leadership. So it's a lot of work that I do with people. So I have to I want to reflect every night. So the article is called Daily Reflection Diary, one-on-one with oneself. I still need to paste all of this. It's right now 1,900 words, but I need to give it to AI to give me some ideas. I'm actually not going to use AI in any way or form to write anything. I write my own stuff, but just to grammar proof, because I was writing very fast. But it's about reflecting every day. So what I started doing maybe 3.5 weeks ago is I started writing an evening diary. So I write it, you know, how did they go, things about people, who did I hurt today, who did I help today, how did I affect my team, you know, because I run my team, I work as a lead. So it's quite fascinating when you write things down daily on things you could do better, things that you suck at, things that you... It's absolutely fascinating. So I'm looking forward to share that with you guys soon. Okay, wow, this surprisingly went well. Really, you can like merge cells? Wow, okay. That is sick, man. Jesus Christ. So nice. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. Honestly, wow. Okay. That is pretty good, man. I must admit. If you disagree, then the thing is, I mean, I think as I said so many countless times before, one of the most core skills of human being is self-reflection, self-critique, and genuinely trying to be better yourself every day, right? So I would say yeah, I would say that without these skills, one gets nowhere. But yeah. Oh, I'm sharing myself. Fuck, sorry. Sorry for that. Jesus Christ. Thank you. Thank you, Mangitsak. Phil, yeah. Yeah, this is pretty bad actually now. Wait a minute. Just bear with me for a moment. I can't say this anymore. I'm gonna get assassinated by Panosa. Shit, I forgot. The only thing that I can actually see here whatsoever is that I don't use any of that. I don't use these ways. I don't use I don't use any of that, Mellow. I'm not a fan of that pattern at all. I don't think it what it provides is not sufficient for me, honestly. Okay, I mean, okay, look, that is maybe fine for now. This is maybe fine for now. Let me go ahead and try to merge this. Exactly. I've tried over the years GitHub submodule, Git submodules. I've tried a lot of these things, and then over time I realized it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it because it adds a lot of complexity, a lot of interconnected things. You create this almost monolithic type of thing, and you know you can, if at least if you're writing a JS, right, you can do aliases, right? Aliasing. So if I show you here. If we take a look at Vita config of this library, right, or of this, it's so simple to just link to your source file. So you can see in development, in development, you can see because this is my core library that our whole UI is built by me on this project, and hopefully Cedric as well soon. This is all you have to do in order to link. So when you're working locally, you're saying, hey. You can see here we have environmental variable that says use local version of my library, and if you have 10 of them you can do this in your main project, right? Bastard. Will Alex say just one more second? Yeah, I'll let you guys do it. Okay, but yeah, I tend to use as less things as I possibly can, right? Because fundamentally it keeps things a lot simpler. I actually don't have that. I don't know. I think the Twitch itself is a massive blocker. I have disabled all ads, so there's no ads on this channel. So every single restriction that exists on this platform I have disabled, and so if you're seeing some restrictions, I'm very sorry on behalf of Twitch. If you're seeing ads, they're also disabled. So there's absolutely nothing that I can do about some of these things. That is all Twitch. That is all Twitch. You can't disable them fully. Well, then fuck them. I have done everything I can on my part. If you're saying that certain things can't be disabled, that's just how it is. At the end of the day, Twitch has to make some money as well. So to their defense, like every other business, there's no free things in life. There's no free things in life. And that's just how it is. I'm sure 100% that this is not complete, no chance, so we're gonna have to do more on this table, but I don't want to go crazy with it now. The point of this table is just so we can see if we can also render the markdown stuff. So the point now isn't exposing the table fully to say, it's rather, yeah, just seeing now when we support the markdown. Probably will need to run pm format. I'm sure this, yeah. Let me just kill it already. What did I want to? Give me a second. All right, come on, you can do it. Shivam Ross, haven't you just been on a different account now? Or maybe it's another one, because I think, or there's two of you. Or maybe you wrote on YouTube. I don't know. I have a feeling I just reviewed it. Are you the person that I reviewed the... first time on Twitch, I see, okay. Cool, man, cool. Cool. Okay, let's wait for this crap. Rebecca, my friend, good evening. Good day. Well, what is it now? Evening at this point. Cool. Okay, let's close this and let's get back to... So we're gonna wait for this deployment to finish. And then if we go back here... Day but dark, exactly. Let me actually remove this step for now. So, because I actually want, maybe if not tonight, maybe already tomorrow, just release this new onboarding flow and this. So RSS already works. Maybe I'll just add a couple of more details on how you can parse your RSS. We just need to make sure people understand how to update their DNS for those who don't know much. And then Markdown files seem to be on the right track. So that's also fine. And then the question about these buttons and the UX, of course, that is always a question. Maybe also conveying the idea, adding some graphics, whatever. And then we have, this is of course, we need to convey that it's an optional step, so you don't have to do it. And Yeah, it's new onboarding, but I would say even more important now we have these during onboarding. So just to convey to people that if they have their own blogs or content and they want to switch to write on our platform, then they can do that, right? So I think, and then we're gonna refine that over time and stuff as the time goes by. But I think it's a good start. It's a good start for sure. I think Panos, a very good comment. I'll write it down already. Is it a bit technical? Yes. I also think that it is a programmer network platform, so my assumption is that people are able to do this. I think depending how you look at it, this is probably easier than doing what you suggest. So that really boils down to like, but you're absolutely right. We could do that. You could say, hey, just create a record like you said and deploy your website with that record. So actually, yeah, I agree. And I think that's a good point. I think we can do both. That really boils down to the type of project people have. But I agree. And let me just add this. I see. Okay. Let's, yeah. Very good point. Let's write it down. I think it's hard to disagree with that. I think we should provide both. Yeah, very much agree. Very much agree. Let me just correct spelling errors that Panos wrote, because you know he's not great at typing. There we go. Okay, beautiful. Let's go ahead and deploy. The CI should have passed by now. It did. Let's publish package. Okay. Should be deploying again. Yes, beautiful. And also we need to add this step. So I know that if I spoke to a PM now, I know for a fact, I've spent so many years with PMs. If a PM would see this step here, they would probably say these exact words. We should not be adding friction to our onboarding. We should just allow people to sign up as quickly as possible, right? Meaning, yes, this is an optional rule, but should it be during the onboarding, right? Because if this thing goes to crap or something breaks, we break onboarding indirectly, right? Panosa is the best. Nice. You get what I mean? So a PM would probably not be very happy with having this importing step as part of this, because also what is the likelihood of a user who never used this platform before to update stuff, right? So seriously, let's discuss this a bit, guys. So especially you, Panosa, and Rebecca and stuff, right? I think likelihood that somebody is gonna come here and for the very first time sign up and then already do this, I don't know, I find that incredibly high, like less likely, right? I guess first you want to come check out the platform a bit and then make up your mind. So I just think this might be a little bit premature to ask users, you know, to do this up front, even though again it's an optional step. Right? Exactly. Optional is enough. Okay. And it's already optional, right? So you can kind of just click continue. You don't have to do it. I mean, we're gonna track. I mean, right now, this import, if you go to production, I mean, I haven't exposed this other part yet, but if you go to dashboard, we already have this. If you go to your dashboard, there's an import, so we're gonna add this as well, the box below, right? So you can already do this. Yeah, right? Because yeah, we can also kind of, when you log in, you know, you have the, I mean, here we're gonna add also devto, right? We're gonna next importer we're gonna do is the devto one. If you go to devto, you can download your articles there as JSON, so we can also do that. And I have done that already, yeah. So you can see, you can set this up later in your settings. So that is also there. Okay, we'll see, we'll see. Okay, I guess time will tell. Maybe I'll leave it for now. It's just being able to do the same thing from multiple places. In my experience, that's never a good idea. Exactly, Panosa, that is my fear as well. That is exactly my point. At this point of sign up, I mean, people just want to maybe click around and never come back again. So chances, what are the chances that somebody will import that stuff during onboarding? Probably very, very low, right? That's just also my sentiment, right? Exactly. But again, it is optional. You don't have to do it. We should also probably just put an optional thing here. So, I don't know. I have to think a little bit more about it. I agree with everything we said. I also think that there is a value just showing them up front that it's possible. Because many people never even go to their dashboard, right? Many people never even do this and then see what is available, right? Ah, what happened to bookmarks? Okay, that's good. Exactly, exactly. Give me 1 second. Do I have source maps in production? I hope not. I don't think so. I hope not. What the fuck? Why am I here, bro? Alex, come on, bro. What are you doing, man? Where's my No, I didn't. I don't think so. No, I didn't. I don't think I did. It's just they changed this fucking UI here. It's so irritating, man. Okay, let's see here. No, we don't have any source maps. No, I don't think so. Not in production. All right, wait a minute. Is this what you're referring to? I think this is what you're referring to. Yeah, I mean, they're not really source maps. It's just the way... I mean, this piece of code, all of my dashboards are JSON declarative based. So it looked like we have one, right? Like I built this dashboard system that's very, very declarative, right? So you can see if we go to like the front end and we go to src views dashboard, right? Each dashboard really is a configuration itself, right? So you see we have this almost like a factory function. So we have, you can see, so every dashboard that we have is just you know, like, so all of our dashboards are kind of very generic, and each dashboard is represented through a config, right? So that's at least how I thought about these dashboards, right? Like every dashboard has resources, these resources do these things, blah, blah, blah. And then I eventually consolidate them into configs like this. You see, this is like an articles dashboard. It has its articles itself. It has some logic, some navigation, and some props, right? So you can say, and then this is bookmark, so every single one of them, right? Okay, let me actually try to do one thing whatsoever. So what I'm gonna do, there's one thing that I'm overdue. Gravity. What is the name of this code editor from Google? Anti-gravity or something like that, right? Yeah. Let's try one thing because I think they have pretty generous thing that's free. So what I'm gonna do here. No, I actually have an idea. There's one thing that I want to do with our Louis GUI that I want to try with it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say open folder. I'm gonna say programmer network Louis GUI, and I'm gonna open this folder, okay? Okay, sure. And I wanna add back the prefixes because our styling in production is actually wrong. So the programmer network in production is gonna look better when I revert some change that I did. So let's open this anti-gravity bullshit. Where is it? Here, and let's do one thing. Let's try. I've never tried this. I need you to add a Yale prefix to our Tailwind and update every single component Tailwind CSS class to use that prefix. Let's see. I have no idea. I have no. This is an exception. This is not an AI now. This is a regex on steroids. So I don't need it to implement anything per se. I need it to go through every single component and add YL dash to every single class, right? So in this context, it's not an AI, fuck you guys. It is a regex on steroids, bastards. Okay. So let's see, I've never tried this another bullshit released. I don't think it's gonna take a second, that's my fear. Error. Encountered retriable error from model. It's already failing, bro. What? But I never used it. I never used it for once. What quota, bro? What quota? Restart to update. Okay, let's let it work. Let's let it work, okay? AI response time usually takes 36 hours, yeah. No, I never used this, I promise. I installed this at work a couple of days ago when it was released on my MacBook Pro laptop. And I saw the UX and I didn't like it very much, and then I just closed it. But I never prompted it. It's the first time I'm prompting. Okay, so it failed instantly. It already failed, okay? It literally already failed. Okay, so you already failed. Tailwind 4 has a prefix inside of a import directive. There is no such thing as tailwind.config on Tailwind 4. So you see, it already failed. PhD level, they say. PhD level, they say reject everything. Good afternoon, Cassie, my friend. How are you? Let's give it a chance. Let's give it a chance. Is there some utility that does this? Is there some utility that will convert, that will add all of, that will add Tailwind for prefix to all of my CSS classes in my UI library? 3 AIs, wow. Tailwind CSS, okay. Removing. No, I mean, yeah, I think exactly. I agree. I worked at the Technical University of Denmark, DTU, so I used to sit with some of these PhDs during lunch in the cafeteria at DTU. So yeah, I mean, their roles are very different. Many of them actually suck at code, like at the syntax, at system level design and stuff. But many of them are very clever in the critical thinking type of stuff. So oh, really? Okay, wait a minute. Ooh, this is interesting. 300 weekly downloads. Interesting. Okay, wow. Okay, does this really work? Okay, it doesn't. Okay, so this doesn't work. All right, and we're not gonna make it work. Okay, so this guy is now writing a utility. Let's give it a chance. That's a clever thing. I expected it to do that. So it wrote a utility to append a prefix to every single component. Let's give it a shot, yeah. Pretty much, Cassie, my story now as well. My story now as well. But it's wrong. This is not the right way. You failed. Prefix is followed by a colon, not a dash. So it did fail in a way. Yeah, for sure. So it definitely failed. Yeah, it definitely failed, but okay. I mean, it wasn't far off. Wasn't far off. Let's discard 1,469 files. Why is it removing a file, okay? I'm gonna do what it suggests. I just wanna test how this crap works, okay? So they say this is the best model ever and blah, blah, blah. I want to believe, like Mulder and Scully would say in the X-Files, believe. I want to believe, so let's give it a shot. I agree, definitely. No, it doesn't get it. It doesn't get it. No, no. I don't think you get it at all. I said that when you wrote a utility, you added it as, and it should be as Yale : Let me actually try to insult it. I want to see how it responds to insults. You dumb fuck. Fuck. You dumb fuck. Fuck you. Okay, let's just see how it responds, okay? Just testing its... Okay. Fuck, it's even ignoring my insults. I mean, it's clearly a robot. I've been working to reason that there's... No, it just ignored my insults completely. Shit, what type of model is this? It's not even apologizing anymore. I'm gonna turn into a snowflake right now. Disgusting. It didn't even say, but you know, it's not even saying that I'm absolutely right, like other models. Are you suggesting that I'm not right all the time? And it's still trying to do this, bro. No, that is wrong, man. Jesus Christ, okay? Uh-huh. What? It removed the file again. What are you doing, bro? What? Did it run it already? No, it didn't do anything. What? Okay, so honestly, yeah, this is not good. I mean, I'm giving it a chance, and I don't want to steer it away or anything. Yeah, this is pretty bad, bro. Yeah, this is yeah, not very good. All right, let's do another thing. Let's do another test, okay? Okay, so I mean, I want to believe. People say this is the best model so far, blah blah blah. Cool story, bro. Sure. I think I had Gemini CLI as well. Gemini, let's try that. Gemini CLI. I didn't try this in a very, very long time. How do I run it? I forgot. What do I do? Do I do like Gemini? No? Okay. Maybe I never set it up. Okay, NVM use maybe. Gemini CLI. Let's just call it Gemini. I don't know. I for some reason I like Gemini. Let's call it the Gemini. Fuck Gemini. Let's call it Gemini. It kind of sounds like kind of a little bit of a, you know, like a kind of Egyptian, like gypsy. Gemini. Gemini Klee. Okay. Let's call it Gemini Klee. Gemenji. Gemini Klee. Come on, bro, install it. Okay. We're gonna try the same. We're gonna use Gemini Klee, and we're gonna try the same. Gemini API key. Fuck you and your API key, man. Come on. Okay, here is Gemini. Gemini. Ah. I actually do have this, but I can't expose this in crap. Please enter your Gemini. Shit. We can't do this. Okay, fuck it. Let's give it one more chance. Okay, let's be more specific this time. Okay, let's say this. Inside of Tailwind, crap, we've added a prefix. We now need to update every single component with this prefix. Let's see. Let's give it a chance. Gemini. It's also very slow, and I'm okay with that if it's accurate, right? But if it's both slow and inaccurate, then that's a problem. Again, saying this relative to the fact that they sold it 3 days ago as the most capable model, right? So we have to be critical, because if you throw out such a claim out there, then you need to support it, right? So I think it's fair enough to be a little bit of an asshole and be skeptical, because if you make such a bold claim that you're the best, well, then you have to prove that, right? So 67 seconds so far. So let's give it a shot. I see. Okay. Makes sense. I mean, it is doing a lot of stuff, which I respect. This is what a human being would have to do anyway, right? So let's let it do it, and we can do something else. Wait, what is this? That's that thing. Okay. So let's kind of recap ourselves. What the hell have we done so far? Because there's a lot of changes we have now. What an overthinker, yeah, right? So I would say the backend on our end is more or less done for the importer for this feature, I think. There was one thing that we could kind of ensure that you can't import the same stuff again. I think I saw that being possible. So basically, this check for duplicate content didn't necessarily work, I think. This is why. Okay, check for duplicate content. Doesn't seem to be used in the context of our markdown importer. Okay. Okay, let's see what is it doing. Let's accept this. Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's massively failing right now. I think this is, yeah, so far, I don't know. Yeah, I would say that it's failing big time. But let's see, it needs Babel, right? It needs some sort of a parser, so let's give it a chance. Yeah. Let's see what is it gonna do. Because we have a bunch of components with bunch of classes, so maybe it's being a little bit... Require Babel console log traverse found. So basically it's almost trying to build an actual plugin to do this work properly, right? So it's like probably like, hey, I found out sufficient amount of patterns that won't match global search and replace, therefore I have to build something more complex so we don't mess things up, right? I think that's in simple words what is it doing, right? And like someone said, maybe because it's under quotes free, maybe that's why it's so slow. And okay, while we're waiting for this guy to... Okay, so, all right, let's see what it did. It did something. Yeah, sure, okay. Let's run it. And let's see, okay, it failed, probably some dependency or whatever. Fine, it's running a JavaScript file, so node transform. Okay, it's transforming now, shit tons of stuff. And we have so many icons, which... Okay. Wow, okay, I mean, oof, it failed so badly. No, what is this? What the fuck is this, bro? Yep. Yeah, as you can see, this is the result. So it messed up big time. Yeah, it basically broke everything, which is okay. Yeah, it just didn't do quite well. Okay. All right. Okay, well, in simple words, let's just agree that it failed, and that's okay. I will whatsoever spend no time with it anymore, so I'll close this crap. That was sufficient for now to at least realize that free stuff isn't very good. Okay, that's good. What is this? Check out functions marked. Yeah, okay. 2.8's defense, it was a rate, it was let's say that we used very little time to test it, so I don't want to shit on it yet, but I would say, you know, yeah, that's my first impression is not good, so let me just commit some of these things. I mean, I have access to all of these models for free from my company, so it's just I wanted to just give it a genuine test, not like some bullshit YouTube type of video for someone, but genuinely just see, hey, does this actually work or not, right? And I just gave it a, I would say, a pretty easy task. I would say it was a what? I would say it was a pretty simple task, because it's a task that I would expect an AI to execute on perfectly, because it's literally string matching stuff, right? Like find all of the classes, all the strings, and append text to them, right? So yeah, but why are we getting this error now? That is a little bit scary. Okay. That is a little bit unexpected. Why do we need to change this though? Fuck. Okay, I mean, sure, okay. Okay, let's push this. Let's push this very quickly. Simp, good evening, my friend. Good day. How are you? Let me just kind of push this to Git in a different branch, just so we kind of don't mess up stuff. It's also very imperative when using AI to continuously push. So sometimes when it may be when it doesn't yield the result we want, sometimes it's very healthy to kind of have the history. Wow, what is all this? Why so many changes? There's autocomplete. Wow, okay, I didn't know that either. I guess because of the log file. Yeah, it has to be. Okay. I think most of this comes from the log file. Okay, let's store that there. That's okay. What did I want to do? Oh, yeah. I'm a 2024 CS grad, left coding after that, did other non-tech work. I want to get back into tech. What would be final stack? Thank you very much for the follow, man. What would be my suggestion is to well, ensure that you have the skills to build things, and then network and apply for jobs and spend a lot of time meeting people that can help you get your first job, because it's going to be very hard. Yeah, I think it's a very tough industry for younger people, younger developers, younger juniors. So my suggestion would be pretty much that. You need to first, of course, have the skills to build things and prove that you can build them. And then also have people that you know that can give you a chance, right? Wait, what did I want to do? I wanted to... Yeah, let me try one thing. Okay, let's try now the cursor for the same problem we just gave it there, okay? So I'm gonna give it this project. So I'm gonna give it this. I'm gonna say I've added a prefix to our Tailwind file. Now we need to write a script to update all of our components in our core library with that prefix. Let's make a plan and execute properly. Let's see how this guy is gonna do. Sure. Tech lead, my friend. I don't know if I'm on the latest version. Probably not, as you say. That's good to know. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I need to install the update. You're absolutely right. Hey, buddy. Welcome back. Yeah, give me a second. Welcome back, my dude. Okay, let's see what this guy is trying. Do you use any MCPs? I do use BigQuery, Postgres, Context 7, and a couple of others. Yeah, for sure, definitely. I use everything that's on our disposal. Everything. Every single thing that I can use to help me build, I use. Whatever can make it faster and easier. Let's see how cursor, yeah. Tech lead, I've tried the composer by your suggestion again, and I just didn't like it. I think it was just making more mistakes. It's definitely fast, sure, I agree with you, and anyone else making that claim, because I know that they also make that claim. But I just don't think it's as good. That was my experience. Can I prove that by data? No. That was just the feeling I had. I just had a feeling that it was making some pretty silly mistakes even. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't know. I tried it and I'm like, nah. No, it did make mistakes. But it's kind of, that statement is also a little bit unfair because every single one of them will make mistakes, right? It's more that it just felt that it isn't as good. That's kind of mostly that, yeah. Okay, it did it. Ah, shit. I had these prefixes. So Louis GUI is my core library. So Programmer Network UI, as if you remember, is built by my own. I built my own UI library. So I removed prefix recently, and that was a mistake. So I'm adding prefixes back. So your Tailwind classes from your core library are prefixed with something. So right. So because right now I'm dealing with issues with merging CSS classes and stuff. So I had these for a very long time, then I removed it for some other reasons, and then I realized removing them was a mistake. So in Tailwind configuration, you can say to Tailwind, hey Tailwind, when you generate utility classes, don't name them just P-4, name them my prefix, colon P-4 or whatever, right? So that's kind of what we're doing now, just making sure to put all of that stuff back. The mistake was simply that I forgot why I originally did it at the first place. I originally did it at the first place because I couldn't merge classes, I couldn't override them. Like if you go now to production, if you check the production, right, these are not correct styles. So for example, this username here should be blue, not white. And the reason why it's blue is because my override doesn't work. You can see that I have here text primary, which should make this thing blue, but it doesn't make it blue because my h6, my core component, is white by default, right? So this doesn't work now. So this doesn't override the original class name of this very component, right? So before, when I had Yale prefixes, this wasn't a problem, right? Now it is a problem. Man, but this was very awesome. I think this thing was really good. I think no, it's not. No, it's not. It's the other way around. It works locally, right? It doesn't work in production. So classical, so you can see locally, if I go to localhost, right? We'll need to... You can see locally it works, right? But when we build it, it doesn't work, right? So it's a classical Tailwind trap. All right, let me stop the stream. Let me stop the stream and I'm gonna start it again. 1 second. Oh no. All right, I think we're back. Yeah, I think we're back. Should be back. Let me know if it's good. Let me know if it's fine. You're back. Nice, nice. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Let's hope it's not gonna start failing again. And it seems that what I'm gonna also do, this is a very massive thing, but I need to make sure that it doesn't break the shit. So let's go and yeah, do some stuff here, starting preview. So let's see, let's go through every single one of our components and make sure we didn't break stuff. I think we already can see that we did break stuff. Let's see. But this rather seemed to be an issue with Storybook than with our components, so we'll need to double check that. Yeah, because nothing is really rendered here properly, and I suppose that is because of discrepancy maybe with the background. Do we have like a light theme? Yeah. So I think we also need to update these bad boys, right? Am I right in that assessment? I actually don't remember. But I think these also have to be updated, if I recall. Now we're updating the tests. Wait, let's go ahead and take a look at the dist folder. And let's take a look at, wait, dist, maybe Tailwind. Okay. Our cursor is farting out big time here, okay. So the only now thing I don't remember is, do we have to update the custom CSS properties as well? Razix and others, thank you very much for the follows, I appreciate it. So yeah, so we can see that I think, so the only thing that's not applied is this fella here, right? So that is the only, that is really the only part now. Let's run these tests again. Let's see, did we update any of them, or are they still failing in relation to these prefixes? It's unclear right now. Okay, weird. All right, so we still have some failing. So that's not far enough in the past. So let's go more. October bumper. Okay, let's try this. Let's go browse. At one point in time I've made this change and it's unclear when. Okay, so here we have the prefix. Interesting. Interesting. Maybe the storybook config is wrong. Manager, preview. Team. So all of that kind of looks correct. So with that said, yeah, that is a bit weird though. So our storybook for some reason is failing. Maybe we literally just need to restart it or something. We'll see. But we can see that our root project, our development, in fact, is rendered properly. So it seems that things actually in fact work. Yeah, this is fucked up. I mean, we can in fact take a look at that. So yeah, that's actually not correct. So I see no Yale classes here, which is a bit weird. Let's actually do another thing, and that's probably when it's gonna fail. So if we do this, and if we PMI again, here, and maybe we need to restart our Docker container as well. Docker, restart. Yeah. Shuster, yes, there we go. Okay, so we can see that it doesn't work. This is now a white theme, you could say, so that's fine. But then if we take a look at that, we should see, yeah, we should see Yale prefixes. Yeah, that's very good. Some we don't see because some are in this project, but I would say for most components that are coming from Yale, Yeah, most likely a bunch of them are actually missing classes. Okay, but let's now figure out why is it not rendering it at all. No, this is, yeah, I mean, this is the outcome of an error, right? So we're not gonna have it like this. It's just now we need to ensure that these custom CSS properties are actually not being read at all. And if we go to this, so this is what gets generated here. Yeah, so you can see this is the thing. So I wonder whatsoever if we are supposed to prefix our things with Yale or not. It's a bit unclear right now. So essentially what I'm asking is, it's unclear if we are supposed to do like Yale color primary blah blah blah, right? I don't think so if I recall, because, but yeah, let's give it a shot. No, we're actually not supposed to do it, right? I mean, okay, maybe I can do this. Let's actually, so let's maybe switch to the camera. Let's, what was it? I was streaming for like 3 hours anyway. I think I'm losing a bit of focus here, especially because this thing is boring like shit. So let's maybe just round up, fellas. Let's see if there's a question or two. And then if not, we can round it up. I'll finish this off stream, and there's a lot of stuff to merge and stuff. So let's maybe leave it here a bit, and then we see each other maybe tomorrow or some other day. I don't know yet. Cause yeah. Danielo, hey friend, how are you doing? And for those of you who didn't, please sign up. It takes 2 seconds, and leave a thought, share something every now and then, just so we keep the community flowing and interesting and stuff like that. Why have you not shaved today? That's a good question, and I will actually after this, especially, and I'm gonna be thinking of you. Danielo, I had to restart the stream because something was wrong. So yeah, I've been streaming for like 3 hours. So for me, that is the maximum before I just like need to make a little break. So yeah. Well, but always seeing Panosa here, I'm always so happy. And the fact that he hates me and he still can't live without me is just fascinating. Fascinating fact. So what can I say? What can I say? Overlay says stream is starting. Ah, you Twitch skills. Twitch skills. Oh. Likewise, my friend. Have a good day and night, everybody. I'll see you guys another time, and take care. We speak to each other again very soon. Bye bye, everybody. Cheers. Peace out. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Cassie, man. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Bye bye. Good night. Later.